Hello students, welcome in History Civics class, and in this video we are going to start Civics first chapter, the legislature and the executive. And today's topic are the meaning of parliamentary form of the government, the two houses of the Indian Parliament, the three branches of the government and the power and functions of the central and state government, the union legislature, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the functions of the parliament and the union executive. And today's first topic is the parliamentary form of the government. As you have studied in a previous classes about the form of the Indian government, and we all know that the India is adopted the parliamentary form of government, which means the executive branch of government has direct or indirect support of the parliament, and the head of government is the prime minister who has the real power, and he is assisted by the council of ministers, and the head of the state is the president of India, and he is the nominal head. Please listen carefully. The Prime Minister is the head of the Indian government, and the President is the head of the state. And the President is called the nominal head, who carries out his function on the advice of the Prime Minister. Means he can't do anything without the advice of Prime Minister. So he is called the nominal head. And the parliamentary form of government both at the central and state level. And the next one is the organs of the government. According to the Constitution of India, the function of the government are divided into three branches, or we can say that the Indian government are divided into three organs. The first one, legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature is also called the law making body. This means parliament. To govern a country efficiently, we needed policies and laws, and the legislature is a form of various laws and policies for the development of a country, and it is the basis for the other two organs of Indian government, such as executive and judiciary. And the second one is executive, the body that enforces the laws made by the legislature is called executive, and these laws and policies enforces for the welfare and the development of the state, and it is the administrative head of the government. And next is a judiciary. Judiciary is that branch of government that interprets laws, settles disputes between the two or more parties, and administrative justice to all citizens and prevents people for violating the laws. And in the parliamentary system, there are three distinct organs of the government, but they had their separate identity, but they all are closely related to each other, especially legislature and executive. The legislature, which comprises the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the executive, which comprises the president, vice president, prime minister, and the council of ministers. They both are closely related. The executive is the part of the legislature, means the all members of executive are elected from the legislature, and this process starts from the general election, and which we all know about the general election. In a general election, the people elects their representatives, and these elected representatives form the Lok Sabha and Council of Ministers. And the Council of Ministers is formed out of these members of Lok Sabha. The Parliament is provided highest authority in the government by our Constitution, because firstly it is the lawmaking body, and as well as the all policies and programs of council of ministers are also approved by the majority of the members of the parliament. And this parliamentary form of government is also present in state with the same features and process. And the state has also separate legislature is called Vidhan Sabha. And out of this state legislature is formed the state executive, which comprises the chief minister and the council of ministers of a particular state. And the members of Vidhan Sabha are directly elected by the people during the elections of Vidhan Sabha related to the particular state. And the next point is the powers and functions of the central and state government. All administrative powers are divided between the central and states government, and both are supreme within their respective sphere according to the constitution. And there should be no conflict between the central and state. So the Indian constitution provides them a separate list of subjects to make laws. And you can see the union list, state list, and the concurrent list. The division of the powers between the union and states is notified through the three kinds of list mentioned in the seventh schedule. Union list, the first list number 1, state list, list number 2, and the concurrent list number 3. The union list. The union list is the longest of the three lists, and it lists 97 subjects on which the union parliament can pass law. The main subject of the union list are defense, finance, foreign affairs, war and peace, atomic energy, national resources, railway, post and telegrams, and etc. And the state list. State list has 66 subjects, and it includes the subject in which the state legislature can make laws. Such as laws can be governed within the territory of each state, such as a public order, police, state court fees, prisons, local government, public health, sanitation and drainage, and etc. And third one is the concurrent list. It has 47 subjects. This list includes the subject on which both the state and the central government can make laws. The main subjects listed in this list are the criminal law, the criminal procedure, economic and social planning, labors, education, prevention of cruelty to the animals and protection of wild animal, and such as things like this. And the next point is the union legislature. The union legislature, which is called the parliament, the law-making body. The union legislature comprises the two houses, the Lok Sabha, the House of People, and the Rajya Sabha, the Council of State. Okay, firstly we know about the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha, which is called the House of People, because the member of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people of India, and it is also called the lower house of parliament. According to the constitution, the term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. However, it can be dissolved earlier. If the Lok Sabha loses the confidence of the people, then President can dissolve it on the advice of the Prime Minister. And during an emergency, the period of Lok Sabha may be extended for the period of 6 months. And the new Lok Sabha must be elected within 6 months after the national emergency. And composition. The maximum strength of the Lok Sabha is 552 according to the constitution. And out of these, 530 members are directly elected by the people from the different territorial constituency in the different states. Not more than 20 members may be elected from the union territories. Means the maximum number of members elected from the union territory should be 20. 2 members of Anglo-Indian community may be nominated by the president to the Lok Sabha, and in case he feels, means the president feels that this community is not adequately represented. And the allotment of the members to the various states, it's depend on the population of the state, such as UP. Uttar Pradesh is the highest populated state of the India. So the UP is represented, the Lok Sabha is by 80 members. Means 80 members are elected from the Uttar Pradesh seat. Because it's the population is greater, and the Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim are represented in the one each member, because population of these states is very less, and at present the Lok Sabha has 445 members in all. And the qualification, the basic qualification required to become a member of Lok Sabha are: he must be an Indian citizen, he or she must be at least 25 years of age, he or she must have his name in electoral rolls and any part of country. And apart from these qualification, there are more things to be compulsory to become a member of Lok Sabha, such as he should not be a proclaimed criminal, he should not be of unsound mind, he should not hold any office of profit under the government, and he should not be in a debt and should have the ability to meet his financial commitments. And next point is voting. As we all know that the system of voting, the member of Lok Sabha are elected directly by the citizen of India, and this process is done by a secret ballot system which is based on a universal adult franchise. But in present time we are using EVM machine for voting, and it is a long process. All Indian citizens who are 18 years old above, they have proper right to voting, and these all voters are divided into numbers of constituencies, and they can cast their vote to their favorite candidate in the same constituency where his or her name is mentioned. In this way, the different candidates are elected from the different constituencies through a secret ballot system or a EVM machine. And speaker, the speaker the speaker is the presiding officer of Lok Sabha, and he occupies a position of great authority and responsibility. He has wide power to maintain his discipline in the house, and he is elected for a period of 5 years. And the present speaker of Lok Sabha is Om Birla. Okay, let's come towards the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is known as the upper house of the parliament or the council of states. The Rajya Sabha represents the federation of states of the Indian Union. It is called the permanent house because it cannot be dissolved like the Lok Sabha, and members of the Rajya Sabha are elected for a period of 6 years, and the one third of total members of the house retired after every 2 years and are replaced by newly elected members. And the retired members can be re-elected if they so desire, if they so desire, and if their electorals um, support them. And the next is the composition. The maximum strength of Rajya Sabha can be 250 members, and the members fall into two categories: nominated members and elected members. Okay, firstly we know about the elected members. The total members are 250, and the 238 members out of the total members are elected by the elected members of a state legislative assemblies. and these seats are allocated to the states and the union territories on the basis of their population. Okay, and the next is the nominated members. The president can nominate the 12 eminent members of the society to Rajya Sabha. Those who having special knowledge or a practical experience in matters such as the literature, science, or a social work. And the next point is the chairman. The Vice President of India is the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha and he is ex officio chairman of the House and he presides over its meeting. And the basic qualification required to be the member of Rajya Sabha are same to the qualification of Lok Sabha, such as he or she must be an Indian citizen, he or she must be more than 30 years or of age, he or she should be mentally sound, and he and she should not hold any office of profit under the government, and he should not be proclaimed criminal, and he or she should not be unsound mind. And the functions of the parliament. The firstly is the legislative function. The parliament is called lawmaking body. It means the parliament has right or authority to make new laws and modify old ones. Which subjects included in the union and concurrent list? In certain circumstances, the parliament has full authority to make the laws which is included in the state list, such as during the proclamation of an emergency. And only parliament has right to make a amendment to the constitution. And the next point is financial function. The union parliament is responsible for the protection and the best use of national fund or treasury. And for this purpose, the finance minister presented the budget which was passed by the parliament in the last week of the February every year. And whatever important decisions have to be taken in related to the budget are taken by parliament, such as it may suggest a cut in the budget or reject it altogether, and a money bill can originate in the Lok Sabha only. And the next point is the control over the government. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. If a government acts, is the government's action against the constitutional provision, it can be voted out of the office by passing a vote of no confidence against the Prime Minister and the ministry. In such case, the whole ministry has to resign and to review or check the work being done by the government. The member of parliament can putting the question on the policies of government, and in this way the full control is kept over the all activities and policies of the government. And the adjournment motion. Adjournment motion may be passed by the parliament when the government requires immediately action in the matter or case, such as the death of several persons due to the consumption of unlicensed liquor. In such type of case, the adjournment motion may be passed. And the next is a judicial function. The parliament has also authority to perform the some judicial function, like it has right to remove the president, the vice president, the judge of Supreme Court through a procedure is known as the impeachment. In case of violation of constitution or misconduct, either house may be framed charged against them. And the next point is the elective function. The Indian Parliament has to perform the certain electoral duties as well. The Parliament elects the President, the Vice President, and own Speaker. And the next main point is the Union Executive. The Union Executive is the body that is set up to look into the implementation of the laws, and it is the branch of government accountable for the implementation of laws and policies legislated by the legislature. The Union Executive comprises the President, the Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers. The President is the head of the state and the supreme commander of the armed force and the first citizen of India, and he exercises his power on the advice of Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister is the head of the government and he advises the President on the major and important matter for making policies, rules and regulations. In this way, we can say that the Prime Minister is the much more powerful figure, and the President is a more of figurehead. As we studied that the legislature is the law-making body, and the legislature's main function is just make the law. But until that law is actually implements, it has no importance. For this purpose, the second branch of government is called the executive. He implements the laws made by the parliament or legislature. An efficient huge workforce is needed to implement these laws systematically. In this workforce is comprises the president, the vice president, the prime minister and the council of ministers, and they carried out the work of executives. And this union executives also takes the help of agencies such as police force and such other type of forces to maintain the law and order in the country. And the next point is the composition of executive. As we know that the prime minister and the council of the prime minister is the head of the government and the most powerful wing of the union executive, and the council of ministers comprises the cabinet minister, the ministers of states and the deputy ministers. The cabinet ministers are the senior minister of the council, and they are the form the core of council of ministers, and we can say that in other language the group of ministers who are leading policy maker and the main advisor of governmental department who reported to the prime minister is called are called cabinet ministers. The prime minister allots a particular department to each of the ministers of these ministers, and the party who get majority in the general election, the leader of the same party is elected as a prime minister, and after the election the president invites him to form the government, and the other ministers also appointed for the council and the cabinet on the advice of the newly appointed prime minister. In this way, in the form of new government, the prime minister and the councils are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, and thus the prime minister plays an important role as a link between the president and the cabinet ministers, and as well as he perform a major advisor of the president in carrying out his functions, and he also responsible for the informing the president of the every decision taken in the cabinet. And this calls an end to this video. I know that this video is very long, and let's meet in another video.